Why did Palma de Mallorca become one of the most heavily defended islands in all of the Mediterranean? This is the question I'm here to answer. No tourist knows this, but you and I will know by the end of this video. Today, Mallorca is a Mediterranean paradise. But for centuries, this island lived in fear of pirates, slave hunters, and ruthless sea raiders that would appear from beyond the horizon without warning. Known today as Palma de Mallorca, but in the age of thieves and pirates, it was known as Medina Mallorca. So as I explore Palma, we will uncover a massive cathedral by the ocean. A mysterious castle on top of a hill overlooking the bay. And we'll discover a story of the infamous Jack Ward. Now some historians claim that he was the inspiration for Disney's Captain Jack Sparrow, a ruthless English raider that terrorized the Mediterranean shipping routes. And by the end of this video, we will all know why this island became a fortress. And there it is, our first clue. The Seu Cathedral. And honestly, the first time I saw it, couldn't believe the size of it. Standing right beside the sea, this dominates the skyline. Here's something interesting. This cathedral wasn't just a religious symbol. It was a statement, a message, or a warning. It's a matter of perspective. A symbol of wealth, power, and importance. Which raises the question, if Mallorca was wealthy enough to build something like this, don't you think the pirates would have noticed it too? You know, because wherever wealth goes, pirates eventually followed. And that's exactly what happened. Now, having been here myself during the pirate age, I can tell you that the shores used to reach the wall. It was so close you can almost moor your vessel right here to the walls. So apparently, old Captain Sparrow here be too overdressed to enter the Seu Cathedral. So there'll be no personal images from inside. And I'm pretty sure that Google will provide me with enough for this video. Anyways, question for you. If you were a pirate sailing towards Palma for the very first time, will this cathedral make you think twice? Or will it convince you that there's treasure within? Let me know down below. But the cathedral is only the part of the story, because the real answer is waiting right on top of the hill above the city. Now this is where things get interesting. Just look at that. A perfectly circular castle. Have you ever seen any other castle circular? Of course you haven't, because all castles are square or rectangular, built around corners, but not Belver. And that was not an accident, because Belver means beautiful view. And from up here, you can understand exactly why. You can see the entire bay, the harbor, the city, and let's not forget the sea. Now just look at that, true castle feel. To be honest, my first time I stepped into a real castle, that felt like a castle. The castle wasn't built here because of the view. It was built here because it's a perfect place to spot danger. So the castle that we got kicked out of earlier, it wasn't built there to be pretty. There was strategy behind this. It was built because it is the perfect place to spot danger. If you were standing there on watch, hour after hour, and then suddenly there's sails on the horizon, Maybe one ship, maybe 20. Friend or enemy? Merchant or pirate? Fact is, you won't know until it's too late. I'm curious, if you were a lookout at the castle centuries ago, would you rather fight the pirate at sea, ship to ship, mano a mano, or would you rather stay on at the castle to defend the castle walls? And speaking of pirates, one of the most feared pirates and a personal friend of mine in the Mediterranean wasn't Spanish or Turkish. He was actually English, and he wasn't even born a pirate. His name is John Ward. So, long before Disney created my brother Captain Jack Sparrow, there was John Ward. He was an actual pirate. He was an English sailor, a privateer, and eventually one of the most feared pirates in the Mediterranean. Ward began his life serving England, but somewhere along the way he abandoned the rules, abandoned the crown, and turned pirate. Operating from North Africa, he attacked merchant vessels throughout the Mediterranean, capturing ships, stealing fortunes, and building a reputation that spread across Europe. The stories became so famous that many historians believe that elements of his character may have influenced the creation of Captain Jack Sparrow. Now think about Mallorca's position. Ships traveling between Spain, Italy, France, North Africa. They passed through these waters. Every one of those vessels brought opportunity, but also danger. I mean, think about it. You have vessels passing from Africa, which is rich in gold and diamonds, going to Italy, going to Spain, going to France. Of course this is going to attract pirate attention, don't you think? Now that's why Mallorca needed more than a castle. It needed a whole defense network. Now standing right next to the cathedral is another clue. The royal palace of Almudaina. And looking at it, it's absolutely beautiful. But this place wasn't built for comfort. It was built for control. Kings ruled from here, and governors watched from right here. And all the decisions was made around one thing: protecting Mallorca. Because this wasn't just a remote island. This was one of the most important trade routes in the Mediterranean. Control Mallorca and you control the trade. And if you control the trade, you control the wealth. So let me ask you a question. If you could spend one night in Bellver Castle or in Almudaina Palace, which would you choose? See, me personally, I would choose the castle. The view alone is worth it. But our next clue takes us even deeper and further back into time. So hidden amongst Palmas streets, something that most tourists walk right past. This is the Arabat, one of the last surviving remnants of Mallorca's Islamic past. Long before kings, long before the cathedral, and long before Bellver Castle, this island belonged to a completely different world. And that is one of the things that makes Mallorca so interesting. Every civilization left something behind. Romans, Moors, Christians, merchants and pirates. You can literally walk through centuries of history in just a few minutes. So question, what do you find more interesting? Ancient civilizations or pirates? I'd love to know, because the next and final piece of this puzzle isn't hidden inside a building. It's hidden all around the island. Now this is where everything finally comes together. Mallorca didn't build one defense, it built dozens. Watchtowers lined the entire coastline, though there's only, a few left today. Lookouts scan the horizon, signal pass from tower to tower, from hilltop to hilltop, from village to village. If pirates appeared, the warning spread rapidly across the entire island. Farms being abandoned, families fled inland, soldiers prepared defenses, and church bells rang. The entire island became an early warning system, because people here knew something that tourists never think about. The sea wasn't always freedom. Sometimes it was fear. Well, most of the time it was fear. And when you understand that, everything suddenly makes sense. The cathedral, the castle, the palace, and the watchtowers, they were all answers to the same problem: pirates. So why did Mallorca become the most heavily defended island in all of the Mediterranean? Well, now you know. Because these people lived on the front line, between wealth and danger, trade and piracy, opportunity and disaster. Standing here, watching over the same blue waters that they watched hundreds of years ago, it's easy to understand why. Because somewhere over that blue waters, a pirate raid can always be coming. So in our next adventure, we will be uncovering another pirate story. The story of a pirate whose name wasn't even known until recently. So if you enjoyed this voyage, hit subscribe and I'll see you on the next adventure. Fair winds, me mateys. This be Captain Jonny Sparrow, signing off.